It has been a long time coming. Today's Supreme Court ruling is one that 650,000 so-called dreamers have been waiting for and will not soon forget. At least for the immediate future, they will be able to stay, in some cases, in the only country they've ever known, where they serve as doctors and teachers, your neighbors and friends, many who've been quietly living in fear. This morning, the Supreme Court ruled the Trump administration cannot immediately end the deferred action for the childhood arrivals program President Obama created by executive order. Our Devin Dwyer has been at the Supreme Court all day and has more on that ruling, which immediately impacts so many lives.
At the Supreme Court today, a victory for the dreamers.
We're here to stay, and that we're going to continue to fight for permanent resolution.
Hundreds of thousands of young immigrants in this country given an infusion of hope.
It means that DACA goes back to 2012. It means that Donald Trump did not take the right process when he ended the program. And it means that the youth movement of immigrant young people of United We Dream is stronger and ready to take on other challenges.
Chief Justice John Roberts with the court's 4 liberals delivering a political earthquake, rejecting President Trump's 2017 rationale for ending DACA as arbitrary and capricious in violation of federal law.
It's not that the administration lacked the power to take these actions. It's that the process that it used to do so was fatally flawed.
Justice Roberts writing, "We do not decide whether DACA or its rescission are sound policies, but saying a reasoned explanation is required," adding, "Here, the agency failed." President Obama created DACA in 2012 to extend work permits and protection from deportation to more than 700,000 undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children.
They are Americans in their heart, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper.
4 years later, President Trump vowed to terminate the program, a decision announced in 2017 by then Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Such an open-ended circumvention of immigration laws was an unconstitutional exercise of authority by the executive branch.
But the Supreme Court today, by a vote of 5-4, said the administration failed to consider the conspicuous issues of hardship on DACA recipients, like those serving in the U.S. military and studying in school. DACA recipient Crescia Rivera is a 4th-year med student at Brown.
Today's decision is completely monumental. This decision means that I will be able to apply to residency programs and hopefully achieve my dream of becoming a surgeon.
In dissent, Justice Clarence Thomas said the court was making a huge mistake, writing the Trump administration rescinded DACA the same way the Obama administration created it, unilaterally and through a mere memorandum, adding the solution respondents seek must come from the legislative branch.
DACA was always meant to be a temporary solution. Kind of lasting protection for dreamers really would require legislation. The administration and the dissenting justices basically said this is something that the Trump administration had the power to do.
Congress has tried and failed more than a dozen times to enact protections for dreamers, that despite strong public support for DACA and legal status for young immigrants. President Trump, who once said he had great heart for dreamers, today blasting the Supreme Court for a horrible and politically charged opinion and vowing to try again at ending DACA, writing, "Now we have to start this process all over again."
Are you worried that he may try to end the program again?
We know that this is a temporary victory. It's a victory, but temporary. Everyone that can vote needs to vote this November to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get to make the decision of taking DACA again.
Presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden today pledging to immediately work to make protections for dreamers permanent by sending a bill to Congress on day 1 if he wins the White House. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer telling dreamers at the court he wants them to have citizenship, telling us he has a simple message for the president.
Lay off the DACA kids and their families. America wants them protected. The Supreme Court wants them protected. Just lay off.
For now, a sigh of relief after a tense years-long legal battle.
I was quite relieved knowing that I won't receive an order for deportation in the mail anytime soon.
Dreamers in every corner of America determined to raise their voices.
People don't realize that our entire lives are built on this program. We don't know any other country.
It's become even more clear during this pandemic that we are healthcare workers, that we are teachers, that we are janitorial staff, that we are farm workers.
A victory not just for them, but for their families.
We disclose a lot of information about our families, and this fight's not only for us, like this fight includes them.
Now a political fight with high stakes in the November election.
This country hasn't gotten anywhere near solving its immigration problem. This is just another Band-Aid, which is nice for the moment, but it's not enough.
And Devin Dwyer joins us now live from the court. What was the scene like out there today? And what have you been hearing from Dreamers about the path forward?
Lindsay, no question, a celebratory mood out here earlier today. Big crowd of Dreamers. This was a huge shot of confidence in the arm for these kids. There's been so much anxiety over the past few months while they waited for this decision to come down. And so many Dreamers told me today that this fight is not over. They are now taking it to Congress, in fact, across the street. They talked about the promises they have heard over the years from members of both parties about fixing this solution. They are tired of the lip service, they say. And there's a good sense of hope. One Dreamer even telling me if, in fact, Donald Trump were to win a second term, they are still hopeful that situation, just getting past this election, will create some space for these parties to come back to the table and finally do something about their status.
And Devin, in practical terms, what does this decision really mean for those nearly 650,000 DACA recipients and their families?
Yeah, it means, well, all of those people that have registered with the government, cleared background checks, paid the $495 fee for a 2-year permit, will retain that status. They will be able to live without the immediate fear of deportation. And that, as we heard today, was very good news. It also means thousands of these kids will be able to continue at colleges and universities, many of them in graduate programs. 800 Dreamers serve in the United States military, some of them in harm's way. And of course, 27,000, as you said at the top, are currently working in hospitals right now, helping to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. They will stay in place as well. The bottom line, Lindsay, is that all of those kids with status can renew that status. That renewal program will continue, and that's very good news for them. Lindsay?
Devin Dwyer outside of the Supreme Court. Thanks so much for your reporting, as always, Devin.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.